Do you want to take your Spanish to the next level? Today is your lucky day. I will teach you 19 Mexican expressions to sound just like a native. Hello everybody and welcome back to Spanish with An Academy. Yo soy Lorena and by now you may know that I was born and raised in Mexico City. So today I will teach you 19 Mexican expressions to sound just like a Mexican. Are you ready? Empecemos. Before we start, don't forget to download the An Academy language app and to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any of our videos. Okay, so let's go with the expression caer bien o caer mal. By now, we know that when we like something, we will use the verb gustar, right? Me gustan las manzanas. I like apples. But what about people? If you say me gusta Pedro, well, that means that you like him in a romantic way. So, what about if you like them as a friend or as somebody that you admire or probably you just met them? Then you will say me cae bien Pedro. I like him. Me cae bien Pedro. The opposite of that will be me cae mal Pedro. I don't like him. Salirse con la suya. This means something like to get away with it. We use it when someone does whatever they wanted to do, even against all odds. A pesar de todo, se salió con la suya. A pesar de todo, se salió con la suya. Ahorita. This is one of my favorite Mexican expressions. Ahorita. We all know that ahora means now. We also know that in Mexico we tend to add ito or ita to make appreciatives, right? Okay, well, this is not the case. In Mexico, we will use ahorita for expressing any time between right now and never. For example, ahorita te llamo. That's probably something I will never do. I will never call you back, or probably I will call you back in 5 minutes. We'll never know. Ahorita means I will do it right now, I will do it in 5 minutes, I will do it in a year. I love it. Luego, luego. Luego, luego is my second favorite Mexican expression. Luego means after, right? But what happens if we double it? Well, then it means immediately. If someone says, mi papá llegó luego de que te fuiste, that means that my dad arrived after you left, probably minutes or hours or even days. But if I say, mi papá llegó luego de que te fuiste, that means that my dad arrived immediately after you left, probably with seconds of difference. That's amazing, right? Ni modo. We would use ni modo when we can't find a solution. It has a negative connotation, right? It means like there's nothing else we can do. For example, no hay entradas para la película. Ni modo, veremos otra cosa. Ni modo. This normally comes with this expression, ni modo. Mande. Mande is one of the most commonly said expressions in our country and is used as an alternative to como or que. When you have not understood well what the other person said, or when other people calls your name, you can say like mande, right? So they can repeat it or they can start a conversation with you. It is also used to express willingness to accept a request. It's equivalent of saying dígame or a sus órdenes. Okay, let's practice a little bit of vocabulary and grammar with our An Academy language app. So let me take it out and we'll do it together, shall we?
Let's see how grammar works for words related to restaurants and bars. Do you remember? In Spanish, the words for da and y change according to the gender of the noun, showing if it's masculine or feminine. To say da, in Spanish, we use the article el before singular nouns that are masculine.
Okay, we need to identify from the options and we have the words el hombre, which would be
El hombre.
The man. Perfect. Now, the restaurant.
El restaurante.
Perfect, guys. Let's continue. The menu, please.
El menú, por favor.
Perfect. Now we're going to listen and translate to Spanish. The bar.
El bar. Un bar. El bar. In Spanish, we use the article la to say da before feminine words.
Okay, so what's in the image?
La mujer.
Excellent. Now we need to match the following.
La pizza. Una pizza.
Perfect. Now here we need to translate to Spanish and the word is de pasta.
La pasta.
Perfect. Now el vino. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, so let's continue. Our next word would be école. École expresses affirmation or a statement or approval. Imagine you're trying to roll your R's for a perfect Spanish pronunciation and suddenly you nailed it. You do a perfect ferrocarril. Then a Mexican will say école, like there you go. École. Love it. Vato. This is a very common word we use to talk about a guy. There was a guy, había un vato. The funny thing here is that there is no feminine equivalent for this one. Our next word or expression would be guacala. Oh man, I love this one. Guacala. I believe that the literal translation will be something like ugh or something for expressing disgust, mainly when talking about food. For example, I could say, guacala, no me gusta el brócoli. Like, ew, I don't like broccoli. Dos, tres. Dos, tres. In Mexican Spanish, we have many expressions with numbers. This one is definitely my favorite. It means more or less, or yes but no, something like that. We mainly use it to answer to questions. For example, ¿tienes hambre? Dos, tres. Meaning, I could eat, but I'm not starving. Or, ¿hablas español? Dos, tres. I am learning, so I could say something in Spanish, but if you start speaking to me in Spanish, probably I will not understand. So, dos, tres. Pa luego es tarde. We use this sentence to express the urge of doing something when you need or you want to do something right now. The literal translation of this will be for later is late. Something like that. For example, necesito llevar mi coche al taller. Pa luego es tarde. ¿A poco? This one also is one of my favorite and it's one of the phrases that I use the most. We use it when we want to express surprise. When you're having a conversation and then the other person says something that you cannot believe, you will be like, ¿a poco? For example, me lastimé la rodilla mientras corría el maratón. ¿A poco? Dar un aventón. The equivalent of this one would be to give a ride. ¿Me das un aventón a la plaza? Can you give me a ride to the plaza or to the mall? Me late. This comes from the verb latir, to beat. Okay? So this is a beautiful expression. We use it to say that you like something, that you like a plan or a thing, even a person. So I like to think that it comes from me late el corazón, like it makes my heart beat. But honestly, I'm not sure if it comes from that. But you can say something like, me late esa canción. Me late esa canción. A darle, que es mole de olla. In Mexico, we definitely have many expressions related to food. This one is one that older people would say, a darle que es mole de olla. It's an expression someone would say when they are about to start a job or a task. An equivalent of this would be something like, let's get to work. De chile, mole y pozole. This is another example of Mexican phrases related to food. When you have different options or a lot of variety, you will say de chile, mole y pozole, meaning like there is a little bit of everything. You can say, me gusta toda la música, de chile, de mole y de pozole. I like everything in music. En fa. This is an expression I honestly haven't heard in a while, but I definitely like it a lot. It means to do something quickly, fast. Me voy en fa a comprar unas bebidas a la tienda. Me voy en fa a comprar unas bebidas a la tienda. Echarse un coyotito. I really don't know where this phrase comes from, but it means to take a nap. Después de comer, me gusta echarme un coyotito. And the last one. Viejo el mar y todavía hace olas. This is a very beautiful expression in Mexican culture. We can translate it as old is the sea and it still makes waves. We use it mainly for older people to express that they still have a long life to live. Another way of saying this is viejos los árboles y todavía reverdecen. The trees are old and still green. Well guys, that's a wrap for today's lesson. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and give us a comment. Probably you know another Mexican expression that you would like to share with us. Just leave it in the comment, okay? Well, thank you very much. This is Spanish with An Academy. Yo soy Lorena. Nos vemos a la próxima.